Hello everyone. Today let's learn about tennis and how it's played. So basically, tennis is a sport which is played with a felt covered rubber ball, a tennis racket and a court. These are the main three things which forms this sport. And it's also an Olympic sport and it's played at all levels of the society at all ages. So anyone can play it. It's very simple and it's the the body copes up with it and it's a good form of an exercise too. So, what is a racket? Racket is just a stick with a few of the nets provided so that it can hit that soft felt covered ball through the court. So, there are two ways of playing it. One, we can play it singles, where each of the players stands opposite side with a net that is in the middle, and the other is called doubles, where two players stands at each of the side. So that's the basic definition of how of what is a tennis and how it should be played. Now, next is let's see what are the how does one conduct a match and what is the tennis umpire called and how it goes. So basically, a tennis umpire, or it's called as an official, is a person who ensures that a match of the tournament is conducted according to the International Tennis Federation rules and other competitive regulations. At the highest level of sport, a team of up to 11 officials may be on court at any given time. So these officials are broken up into categories: a line judge, net judge, and many more. So let's see what are all the judges do, what are all these umpires do, and how they decide. So first, we'll talk about a chair umpire. That's the one who sits on side of the court on a raised chair. So chair umpire is the final authority on all the questions on fact during the match. Questions like whether the ball was in or whether the ball was out, and the final decision made by the chair umpire is the final decision. So he has the absolute authority to make the decisions. Next is a line umpire or the line judge. So the line umpire calls all shots relating to the assigned lines. Line umpires work on court as part of a team of between 1 and 9 line umpires. Each line umpire is assigned one line, or in the case of a short-handed crew, a position, a system. For example, a line umpire on the receiver side may have to cover the center service line, then following the serve, move to one of the sidelines. Here, what is a serve called? Serve a service is the one who delivers the ball at the beginning to other player. He's called as a server, and the other one is called as a receiver. So the line umpire signals a ball out by making a verbal call out, fault for a serve, or if it is a ball is out, he'll call as an out, followed by the extension of the arm shoulder high in the direction the ball was out. A ball is signaled safe or good by holding both hands together, knee high in front of the body. So these are the major features of how a line umpire does, and there are many more features. We'll get into it deep in the next coming sessions. Next, there's a net judge who just declares that if there is a ball that's touched the net or not, and there is another person called referee. So the referee is responsible for assuring that the competition is fair and played under the ITF rules. So these are the international rules just set internationally. So he supervises all the aspects of a play of a tournament, including the conduct of players, coaches, spectators, and administration. So the referee must be present whenever matches are being played, and the referee also has the final authority of giving the decision. So these are the basics of what umpire does in a tennis. Next, let's see what are the scoring system and how the game progresses. So as I said earlier, a single point is one player designated as a server and the opposite player is designated as a receiver. The choice to be a server or a receiver, who wants to serve or who wants to receive, is decided by a coin toss. So there's a warm-up session. After that, there's a coin toss where the one player decides to be a server or a receiver based on the toss which he is. So the receiver may start anywhere on their side on the net. Next, coming to the important aspect of the game, let's see how the scoring system in tennis work. So a game consists of a sequence of points played with the same players serving and is won by a first side to have an at least 4 points with a margin of 2 points or over their opponent. Normally, the server's score is always called as a first and the receiver's score is called as second. Now let's see what are the different points and how they call it. So 0 point is called love, 1 point is 15. The corresponding call I'm telling. So 1 point is they call it as 15, 2 points they call it as 30, 3 points they call it as 40, and if it is all tied they call it as all, and if it is 40 out of 40 they call it as deuce, or sometimes they could have called as a game. So for instance, if the server has won 3 points so far in the game and the non-server has won 1, the score is 40-15. So you get the point, right? If the server has won 3 points and if the non-server, that is the receiver, has won, it's the score is 40-15. When both sides have won the same number of points within a given game, that is, when each side has won 1 or 2 or 3, the score is described as 15 all, 30 all, respectively. So that is, if it is 15-15 and 30-30, it's called as 15 all, 30 all, respectively. Okay, got it. So, however, if each player has won 3 points, then the score is called as deuce. That is, when both are at 40-40, it's not called all, 40 all, it's called as deuce. From that point on in the game, whenever the score is tied, it is described as deuce. Got it. So these are the basic things when you describe it. And there is another tricky thing called add in, add out. So basically, add in means advantage in and advantage out. The short form is called add in, add out. That describes when the server wins the deuce point. So the side which wins the next point after the deuce is said to have advantage. If they lose the next point, the score is again deuce. Since the score is tied, if the side with the advantage wins the next point, then the side has won the game. So these are the phrases which is called when the server's opponent has a advantage, the score may be called as advantage out. So the server's opponent in here means the receiver is called as advantage out, and when the server wins, it's called as advantage in. And there are many more of the scoring system, but these are the basics which you guys need to know. So next, let's see, and there are a few more of the scoring system that are there. So in order to win a game, a player must get at least 4 points. So if you're 40-30 or 40-15 or 40 love and win with one more point, you win the game. So yeah, so as I told you, 40-40 is not called as 40 all, it's called as 40, it's called deuce. Remember that. Next, let's see what are all the different type of matches that are played. So here, the different types of matches are Australian Open, French Open, Wimbledon, and US Open. These are the major tournaments that are conducted. See, Australian Open is conducted annually. French Open will be conducted late May annually. So Wimbledon late June and early July. US Open an annual event. So next time when you see this tennis, you'll know what exactly they're doing and what are the actions this umpire does, what is add in, what is add out, what is love, what is 1 point, 2 point. So next time when you see tennis, you'll know what how it is and how it is played. Let's catch up in the next session. Thank you.